You are now listening to The Box Out with Kahlil Thomas and Jason Kahlil on the One Podcast Network. Let's get it.
From NJ to BK in the world, it's The Box Out here on the One Podcast Network. My name is Kahlil Thomas. Joining me in a few minutes will be Jason Kahlil from Brooklyn, New York. Thank you so much for watching, whether it be live, whether it be in Memorex, i.e. like tomorrow, whenever. Thank you so much for giving us your time and your attention. Our opening tip tonight, obviously, we talked about it last night on Bruce's show on Armchair every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. right there. NBA All-Star game was last weekend, and listen, I'm gonna get ready for this because I feel like we got a lot to talk about with the NBA All-Star weekend. Growing up, NBA All-Star weekend was my thing, right? I looked forward to NBA All-Star weekend. I looked forward to watching a game, and not so much the game, but it was always about the Saturday night. Friday night sucked. You had the celebrity game that I think Kevin Hart dominated for years and years and years. You had like the Rising Stars game, which is the first year players versus second year players, which always, it was all right because, unless you were drafted in New York or New Jersey, it was hard to kind of keep up with who was in the league. You knew of them, especially when you get to like those high first round picks or second round picks that made an impact. So watching those guys was cool. But Saturday night was always the night, right? You had the slam dunk contest, the 3-point shootout was always my shit. 3-point shootout was my shit. The skills competition kind of came around. It was like, yeah, okay. But it was always Saturday. And Sunday was okay. Like Sunday was competitive. I think growing up, we had, and I think I'm spoiled because I had the 90s and I had Jordan and Ewing and Pippen, Malone, Stockton, Drexler, Barkley, Olajuwon, Vince Carter towards the back end of the 90s and 2000s. And the games mattered. The games really counted, I felt like, back when we grew up. And I feel like it's not the case now. As I bring in Jason Kahlil from Brooklyn, New York. What's up, Jay?
Not much. What's going on?
Not much. So I'm talking about how we grew up in the 90s to early 2000s with the All-Star game and how Saturday was the shit. Sunday was good. Sunday was there. But Saturday night was the night. Like we slam dunk, 3-point, skills competition, whatever. And I feel like the last couple years, Saturday night and Sunday has been like no one gives a shit. And I feel like this weekend, this year, with the exception of the Dame Lillard 3-point shootout, I feel like Saturday night for Knicks fans, we were very happy that we won the skills competition. But I feel like Saturday night has lost its luster. What do you think?
I think Saturday's lost its luster. The dunks you could only do but so much. You're not really lit. I thought them not letting in oh boy was a mistake. They should let him dunk in there. I think one this year I'm gonna give it to the Olympics though. That 5 o'clock start was rough. Like
listen, I get it. Like the Olympics are complete priority over the NBA All-Star weekend. However, you have NBC. You couldn't put the game on Peacock. I get that.
You could not.
NBC, you got Prime, you got ABC, ESPN. You have all these partners that you use. You couldn't put the game and the facility. Even Saturday night was early. I forgot Saturday night was on until I saw Allen Houston shooting by accident on Channel 4. And I was like, oh shit. And I turned it on and watched the rest of it. Like, you couldn't put it on one of your other partner stations and say, okay, we know the Olympics, NBC had the Olympics. We can't do 5:30, 2:30 local in LA. We can't do this and do it that way. So I feel like that by itself was rough because, at 5:30, I still got kids running around here. It's tough. So I feel like they dropped the ball. But Saturday was just like, it was kind of a slog. And then you had the slam dunk contest. It was like nothing. At least you had Mac McClung every year
Right.
pop out and do some shit. But then it was kind of nothing to it after that.
I think the only way you could revive the dunk contest is legit have G Leaguers versus NBA players and see if anybody would want to give a crap. Other than that, I wouldn't even. I thought the mistake also was the 3-point shootout starting first. Like, who was even aware of that at 5, 6 o'clock at night? Like, how is that for? That's your best event. That should be on last at this point.
Well, that's when you put the skills competition first. Like, I thought the skills competition always led Saturday night off.
Mm-hmm.
That, a performance, 3-point shootout, performance, and then it led into slam dunk to end the night.
You had a formula, right?
Right? It seemed like it went faster. I feel like the night, it wasn't as long as it's always been. And I feel like that was also NBC like, yo, like, let's go.
Because I feel like Saturday was done by 8 o'clock. They were done by 8 o'clock on Saturday.
I feel like they had a hard out. Like, all right, you got to be done by 8 because we got to go to Milan and watch curling, which, not to lie, curling has been fire. Canada is some cheating motherfuckers, but I love them. But they were cheating their asses off. But God bless Canada. But, Saturday sucked. Friday always sucks because Friday is like the celebrity game where you see a bunch of people who shouldn't be. First of all, the phrase celebrity is very loose these days.
Very, very loose.
Very loose. Because I'm like
500,000 TikTok subscribers, you could be a celebrity.
I'm looking. I'm like, okay, who's that? Who's that? Oh, it's Jeremy Lin. Who's that? Who's that? Oh, look, it's Taco. Who's that? Who's that? I don't know. Like, can we get Arnie Duncan back? Former Secretary of Education. He balled out when he played. Arnie Duncan was the dude. And then the Rising Stars was like, I don't want to watch this. It was a pickup game essentially, like it always is.
Yeah.
So I feel like you had Friday and Saturday leading into Sunday. What did you think of the format for Sunday?
I thought it worked, and I would like to thank Wemby for giving it shit and pretty much force everyone else to give it shit. But I was telling somebody before the game, I was like, I do think the Americans, especially after Kevin Durant's comments, I do think the Americans will try to play hard. They will want to show up against the world. But Wemby definitely gave a shit, and it kind of set the tone. So I think, like the NHL a little bit, if the format works, I just think, we have to, Towns, who wasn't born in DR, who was born in Jersey, playing for the world. We might have to limit that a little bit going forward. But I do like the format. Maybe we find a way to, really break it down where it's maybe 2 world teams, 2 U.S. teams, and figure it out.
Well, that's my thing. I feel like if you have 2 U.S. teams, you need 2 world teams.
But I did like how the U.S. was. You had the older guys on one team, and it was nothing but young guns on the other one. I did like that.
Yeah, I also like the mini games. I like having the quarters and each. I like that, but I do think you need world versus U.S. If you're gonna do this format, you have to have U.S. world. You can't have 2 U.S. 1 world and have this weird. Either it's all or nothing. Either you're gonna have 13 world, 13 all-star. You got 26 all-stars, and you're done, or 24, whatever the number is. I feel like that kind of took away from it. I do.
Another good point too is now that a lot of guys don't play, maybe we should expand the all-star roster a little bit more.
Yeah, do 15. You do 30 guys. Pick out 30 all-stars.
I agree.
Right? People aren't going to play. People get hurt, whatever. So they're voted in, but you already have your 30. So if they don't play, all right, you can sit out. We already got our team because we got 15 guys on each roster. Yeah. Hey, so real quick, what's up, Pop? How you doing? I will say this too, and I know they had it. I guess they had the Elam ending, kind of the target score at some point. They need to bring that back. I do like the target score.
The final was going to be a target score until I saw it wasn't.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I think the basketball tournament does it, which no one cares about now. But and I know the All-Star game had it the year. I think it was the year after Kobe died.
Yes,
they had the target score of 24, 8, or whatever it was. I think the All-Star game, that's when you break out the target score. But on a bigger note, I think they should have that. Think of the NHL when they have the shootouts in the regular season. Why not do target score in the regular season for the NBA? That eliminates your fouling. That eliminates making a 2-minute game a 15-minute game. Why not bring a
Overtime.
target score in?
On overtime, put the target score.
Yeah, if you go overtime, target score. But
that's something they might want to think about doing.
I mean, I don't see the issue with the target score in All-Star game, but why not do a regular season and make it a little bit more exciting? We're going to talk about tanking in a regular season in a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
There's an idea to kind of spruce it up a little bit. So did you like? So the format's good. World versus
format's
US.
Good. Yes, that's the way to go going forward.
My biggest question, and I'm going to see how you feel about it. How would you feel about the slam dunk contest going away permanently now?
I think because it's been so atrocious throughout the years, I wouldn't say permanently. I say you build the demand for it back. You suspended it for a couple of years and see if people want it back. I definitely think they should knock it, but they should knock it off for next year for sure. But see if by 2028 people go on it back. But then now you got to find a void, which they had the perfect void, but it doesn't seem like the guys want to do it against the WNBA, which I think that should be what takes the spot of the slam dunk. It should be WNBA shootout or skill, whatever combination you want against an NBA player.
I know Bruce on his show last night talked about how this should be like a one-on-one tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And just have guys play one-on-one. And it could be G League versus NBA, whatever machination you come up with. There has to be something that gets people back to Saturday. Because Saturday is the problem. I feel like Saturday brings people to Sunday.
They fixed Sunday. So now we got to worry about Saturday.
Yeah, I feel like Saturday brought people to Sunday. And I feel like now people are like, even though it's highly rated, I want to put that out there. They're hyping the ratings, highest rated, 87% increase in ratings from last year, which was on cable. So let's put it in perspective here, right?
Right.
It would have 87%.
It's always been on TNT. Now you're on NBC right before the Olympics.
You're on free TV. People with antennas can watch you. So let's think about the numbers and inflate them a little bit. Bruce, what's going on? Welcome.
Bruce.
I think the slam dunk contest. I think you're right. I think if you absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Absolutely.
Right. If you shove it away and go, we're gonna take a break for a little bit, and then bring it back after a couple of years, and you're gonna have some of the younger guys coming out, the AJ DeBonzas, the Petersons, and be like, I'll do that. Yeah, it'll come back and we'll be part of it. Let's go. Why not do that?
Agreed. But we cannot do Nick Wright's. We cannot do Nick Wright's suggestion. Did you hear about that one?
Well, wait, what was the suggestion?
His suggestion on, I think it was on Bill Simmons. He was saying that we need to do black versus white, and it's call it a day. I was like, no, we cannot do that.
I saw that episode and I was like, I gotta watch. Nah, I can't watch it because Nick Wright annoys me because his whole being just like is an optical illusion. I don't know what he is. I don't know. Is he black? Is he white? Is he?
I get thrown off by that. I get thrown off by that as well.
Just trash it. Let the players take a mini vacation, recharge. We can't
trash it. Can't trash it.
We can't trash forever. We could trash for a couple years. We could dump it and go, let's rebuild. Yeah. Let's rebuild the aura and say, okay, we're going to bring it back. Dominique's going to come out and hang out. MJ's going to come out. Dr. J's going to come out. Let's get Brett Berry out. Where the hell is Jason Richardson? He'll come out. Let's make it a big deal when it returns. All right. Let's get Spud Webb and get it all together.
I thought the highlight Saturday is when Steph kind of didn't say he was going to play. He was going to do it next year, but he shot that shot from, the sideline talking to the Melo and those guys. I thought that was the highlight for Saturday. Saturday was really dull. It was really dull.
Steph versus Dame, 1-on-1, 3-point shootout. Let's do that. Let's just forget everybody else. Let's put them two up, each side of the court, start the clock, and let's let it run. Although Con Knipple had a really good first round, and I think he just wore out the second round.
Man, any other year he might be rookie of the year, but his Duke teammate is definitely taking that.
Yeah, definitely. So that was All-Star Weekend. Pretty successful, but Bruce talked about this last night, and I didn't want to get into it, but something came out early this evening from Shams Charania about tanking. And I know we've had this conversation about tanking. Bruce talked about it at length last night as well. Utah got fined $500,000. Indiana got fined $100,000 for resting players and violating the league's whatever the hell the rule is. Pretty much stop sitting your player rule.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam Silver had the press conference before All-Star game, and he sounded pissed. Like, Adam Silver legitimately sounded angry at like both teams and at the whole idea of tanking. And pretty much said they're open to any idea on how to stop this shit because it's getting annoying. Shams reported that there was a meeting and that these are some of the things that were floated during a meeting. First round draft picks could be protected only for top 4 picks or top 14 plus selections. Not that weird 1 through 4, 5 through 10 shit that we talked about last week. Lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or at a later date. No longer allowing a team to pick in the top 4 in consecutive years and or after consecutive bottom 3 finishes. Teams can't pick in the top 4 the year after making conference finals. Lottery odds allocated based on 2-year records. Lottery extended to include all play-in teams. And the last thing, which I think was probably more likely to happen, flatten odds for all lottery teams. So no one has the most lottery balls. Everyone has the same amount no matter what. How do you feel about this? Will this stop it?
I don't like in the words of Puff Daddy. I told you it's not gonna stop, man. This ain't gonna stop. Everyone's gonna tank. It's all about branding. It's all about branding. Philly branded it. The process that was beautiful branding. It didn't work out for them. It kind of worked out on one end for Embiid. We also with Ben Simmons became shout out to Stephen A. Smith is throwing him some strays this week. I don't have a problem with tanking because I look at OKC, how quickly they rebuild, even though they didn't really tank, they just made, they just accumulated assets. Look at Detroit. They didn't really say tank, but they accumulated assets and was able to rebuild fast. I feel like rebuilding is happening faster now than it's ever happened before because there's so much talent in the league, outside the league, coming into the league. So with the whole thing with tanking, I mean, if you're not in position to win, what else are you supposed to do? If you're, we know right now, on today's date, we know the Clippers are not winning the title. We know the Pelicans are not winning a title. So what are they to do? If you have players that you could either be like, hey, just sit it out, say you hurt, go get that surgery, don't wait till the summer, we'll take care of you. You got Ballmer doing what he's doing with Kawhi. I mean, everyone's trying to win. It's just this is another way of winning down the road. So I don't have a problem with 10 teams tanking. If you're telling me this draft has like 5 blue chippers and you want to be in a position where you get one.
Yeah, and last night we saw the Kings. The Kings shut down Zach LaVine and Sabonis. Same time, same day. Pretty much saying we're out and doing it that way. So I feel like you look at a situation like that where you're right. The Kings weren't gonna. They would probably make the play-in. I think that was probably their best.
They wasn't lighting any beams anytime soon.
No, them beams, them lights. It's kind of like when they broke the bat light in Dark Knight at the end. Same shit with the beam there. But they said Mike Krzyzewski, who works for the NBA, he's an advisor, said that there should be a prompt, tasteful attack on the problem, and that all involved should be prepared to respond to what the league enacts in the coming months and years. So, needless to say, everybody has an opinion on it. I feel like you have the teams who are tanking, who's like, what are we playing for? Why are we going to risk our guy tearing his Achilles when we're not going to win? And then you have the other teams who are playing hard, at least trying to make it into the play-in, at least trying to get in the top 6. So, like, yeah, we enjoy the easy win because you're playing your G League guys, but no one gives a shit. It is tough in a season that shouldn't be this long to begin with. So
that's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other conversation no one wants to have.
Yeah, or you're affecting our shit.
Or the fact you have so many TV, you have so many networks now. That's why you have these back-to-backs because NBC wants one night, Prime wants one night. So they're gonna have to come off their high horses and figure something out in terms of like shortening the schedule and whatnot. But in terms of tanking, listen, we tried with Zion. We tried. It didn't work for us. I mean, no. Look at the Cavs. I don't even think when the Cavs lost LeBron, they were trying to tank to get Kyrie. It just happened that way.
So I want to read Phoenix Suns owner Matt Ishbia, who played in the Celebrity All-Star game on Friday and shot a couple air balls, which made me feel really good seeing a billionaire shoot air balls. He had a lengthy ex-Twitter neo-Nazi true social site post. This is ridiculous. Taking its losing behavior done by losers. Purposely losing is something nobody should want to be associated with. Embarrassing for the league and for the organizations, and to talk about this as a strategy is ridiculous. If you are a bad team, you get a good pick. That makes sense. But purposely shutting down players and purposely losing games is a disgrace that impacts the integrity of the whole league. This is much worse than any prop bet scandal. This is throwing games strategically. Horrible for fans that pay to watch and cheer on a team, and horrible for all the real teams that are competing for the playoff spots. Awful behavior that Adam Silver and NBA would need to stop with massive changes, and I have complete confidence that with his leadership, he will fix it. Those of us in a position of influence need to speak out. The only strategy is doing right by fans, players, and the NBA community. Now, this is coming from an owner who's been willing to spend and spend and spend and spend to get a 7 seed. We have owners like in Charlotte. We have owners in Utah. Utah's got a hockey team, but the owner's like, yeah, let's start all over again. I think you can kind of compare it to baseball and what they're going through and what they're going to go through in December when there's a work stoppage. You have the haves and the have-nots. The haves are like, just play ball, and the have-nots are like, we don't want to. We want the pick. We don't want to pay luxury tax. We don't want to see it. We don't want to hear about an apron when it comes to us at our salary cap. So kick rocks, leave us alone. I feel like that's that battle happening right now.
Not to mention, he sounds like an owner who doesn't have any first-round picks anytime soon either because of the whole Kevin Durant situation. So I'm looking at him like,
you don't got shit. But
that's the guy outside the club trying to talk about I want to get in.
Hey, I know Joey. Nice. Cool. So that's gonna be an ongoing story and probably one that's never gonna end ever. So we'll see what happens going forward and what they come up with. I think the flattening of the odds is probably more of the likely one, although I do like the protection taken off of the picks because that's just getting kind of annoying now.
Yeah, I mean, but I do like the thrill of seeing someone like how Dallas. It's probably because of the Luka situation, but I like the long shots getting that draft pick.
But the Dallas situation too, when they sat their guys and kept us from getting their pick a couple years ago. So same situation. So Dallas lucked out this time, but then Dallas screwed us years ago. Same situation. So everybody does it.
We want Washington to win some games. That's what we're saying there.
Yes, and in the Nets, we got all these picks. Does anybody want them? Like, nope, we're good.
No,
you guys go away. The other story I want to talk about real quick, and it's something we don't really talk about very often, but it's kind of coming to a head a little bit. I want to say in Iowa, Iowa beat
was it Kansas?
Nebraska. Fred Hoiberg. Iowa beat them, and it's a Big Ten game and Big Ten basketball. Besides Michigan, who gives a shit? Iowa wins, and the students storm the court, and in the middle of the handshake line, in the middle of the damn court being stormed, an Iowa fan runs up to Nebraska coach Fred Hoiberg with his phone and pretty much tells him to fuck off. And Hoiberg slaps his phone out of his hand, which created a whole bunch of shit. And we've seen this the last couple of weeks. I feel like there's been a lot of court storming the last couple of weeks. I know in college football they try to stop the field storming, and
it's hard to do that.
Yeah, I think in some cases you can't. I think when Vanderbilt beats number 1
I was
Alabama,
just thinking that about Vanderbilt.
By all means,
all means.
But if Iowa beats Nebraska in a game in February, who gives a shit?
Shit, yeah.
Is it time, especially for basketball? Should we stop the court storming in college basketball?
We should, but they're probably not. But at the same time, when you see the courts getting stormed, I think we might want to do away with the handshake line and just get everyone out of there.
Yeah, I think he's like, we'll handshake it in the locker room and we'll dap it up.
We'll see you in the conference tournament.
But it's funny because, obviously I went to a smaller D1 school, and our biggest at Monmouth University, the intellectual center of the Jersey Shore. That was our tagline. Our biggest rival is Fairleigh Dickinson. So that was our rival in the Northeast Conference. And whenever to get to the NCAA tournament, we had to go through FDU. That was the team we had to beat to get to the first round of NCAA tournament and get blown up by somebody. I remember we beat FDU here in North Jersey, and we stormed their court. And then they came to Monmouth. They beat us on our floor. They stormed our court and started stomping on our hawk, which almost started a fight on the court with students and players. So
love it.
I see both sides because I was on the court like, fuck yeah. Suck nights, suck dicks. But then I see it like, they stomped on the hawk. That's messed up. Like, you don't stomp on the hawk. You don't stomp on Shadow the Hawk. So I see it on both sides. But I feel like the court storming, I feel like it has to be a bigger game to justify storming the court.
Yeah, it has to be like you ain't beat your rival in like 15 years. It has to be something crazy. I agree. But like you said, mid-February, what are we doing?
Yeah, I could see Rutgers, who
that's like Creighton. That's like
currently hates me.
Was it
Creighton beat UConn? Yeah,
that's like Creighton State. That's like Creighton fans storming the UConn court. What are we doing?
I see it like Rutgers, who don't like me currently. That's the story I wrote about their deficit.
They ain't storming no courts in any time soon on any sport.
But think of Rutgers beating Michigan in the rack in Jersey Mike's Arena. That would warrant a court storm. You got a shitty Rutgers team beating the number one team in the country. That I will completely let it go. But like you said, Iowa, Nebraska. Nebraska's ranked. They're not top 10. Like they're like 18, 19. Are we gonna do it? Come on now. And yes, I did. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. I will admit I stormed the court and started jumping around and cursing out players. Fairleigh Dickinson. I'm not proud of it, but college do some shitty things. Just saying. I like you said, the game, it has to matter. There has to be a reason for the court storming. It can't just be because you won a game, let's storm the court or storm the field and take the goalpost down. Especially goalposts. I still don't get that shit.
I mean, if Rutgers ever beat Michigan in any sport, I'm going to church the next day. I'm going to church the next day.
I'm putting money down somewhere the next day because Rutgers won a game in basketball or football. Gymnastics and lacrosse, they're the shit. The revenue generating sports, they are garbage. And I have no problem saying it. Rutgers is trash in the sports that matter.
That
matter, not the sports that no one cares about. They're legit in. So last night I was awake and I watched St. Mary's versus Seattle University. So West Coast Conference action last night.
Oh wow.
This is where I'm at now. This is where I start kind of like zeroing in on teams. St. Mary's is in the West Coast. Gonzaga's leaving the West Coast to go to the new Pac-12 next year. So I'm kind of looking at the West Coast Conference to see who's next up. I see St. Mary's, I see San Francisco, and then I see Seattle. I'm like, Seattle University? What the hell is that? Their first year in the conference.
Okay.
They play in the Climate Pledge Arena, where the Kraken play. Completely empty.
Okay.
Completely empty. Last night. I'm like, okay, cool.
They still hung over from the Seahawks Super Bowl, I guess.
Listen, I thought Seattle was a basketball hotbed, but apparently not for college basketball. No one cares about them in Seattle. Was there a game that you saw in the last week and a half or two that you were like, why am I watching this? And you got really sucked into it? And not like Duke, North Carolina. We know we're going to watch that.
I did watch that game. I did watch that game.
But was it like a lower level conference game where you're like, why am I watching this? And you just turn it off?
But I'm definitely going to start doing that because, I mean, even flipping the channel yesterday with Creighton and UConn, it was a little intriguing. I didn't think I was going to watch it, but a little intriguing. But I'm going to start because I'm looking forward to Saturday, Michigan and Duke. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, now is where we home in and we watch everything.
I'm really sad that you said no because I feel like a big nerd.
I mean, that's
only one here right now.
That's only because they be stashed away in some weird channel. Like I've never,
CBS Sports Network. Let's go.
I must. You know what? I was stuck. No, what was I watching? It must have been. I was watching TNT. That's what it was. And that's where I saw the Big East game.
Yeah.
So you're right. I'm gonna start CBS basketball. You're absolutely right.
The CBS Sports Network. I know ESPNU usually has I know Thursday night tonight they probably have a late night game, so I'll probably watch that. But then you get on that ESPN Unlimited, and thank you Files,
right?
Thank you Files for giving it to me for free. Appreciate it. Not $30. It's interesting to see the different conferences because I'm sitting there looking all right, cool, it's on. Is that? Oh, that's Illinois State. I'm gonna check that out. And I'm flicking around, and then I get to women's. I'm like, oh, is that women's MAC action? Manhattan versus Niagara. I'm gonna watch that. I'm like, I gotta stop. I have a wife and children. I gotta get out of here. This is a slippery slope of this life fading away. The UCLA coach. I'm glad you mentioned Mick Cronin. Mick Cronin, UCLA coach. Apparently his player committed a very hard foul against Michigan State. The refs didn't call it flagrant. They said it was a hard foul, but they didn't call it flagrant. Mick Cronin, who might be, besides Doc Rivers, the biggest coaching con artist in the profession, pulled the guy off the court and kicked him out the game himself.
Hey.
So and the foul was hard. I'm not going to say it wasn't. It was like some Draymond Green type shit. However, Cronin himself kicked his own player out. And then he had the press conference and the reporter, because you and I have done this, post-game, we asked a question. The question, UCLA has a player that transferred from Michigan State, a 5-star player, went to UCLA, averaged 3 points a game. So the fans were getting on him because, you came back home and you're going to shit on you.
Right.
And Cronin goes off on the reporter for asking about the Michigan State player section calling out his player. And I'm like, what? And then circle back, we got Hurley from UConn last night pretty much saying his team sucks playing one-on-one defense, and they've gotten worse as the season gone on, and he doesn't know what to do with them because they're not that good.
Ouch.
And then you have Doug Gottlieb at Wisconsin Green Bay, who got suspended for a game for shitting on the refs for the entire press conference he had post-game. Not that you suck as a coach and you try to be a coach and a radio host at the same time. Don't know how that works. But you're going to shit on the refs because you're a shitty coach and your team is never ready. And you've won 10 games in 2 years. Are we getting to the point where the college basketball coaches are starting to get away with a lot of murder right now and can say and do whatever they want because probably the buyouts are way too big for the schools to say, no, we're good.
Not only with that, I would say maybe the NIL might have a little factor in this where now they're not really student athletes. Now they're really, contractual players. So maybe it's a little of that too.
It's insane. And then I know, Bruce mentioned Stephen Pearl, who's Bruce Pearl's son, who got the job at Auburn after Bruce Pearl retired.
Right.
Because Bruce Pearl is a piece of shit too, who is MAGA, to put it out there. So I feel like these coaches are kind of you have the really classy guys who
ain't much left, man. Ain't much of them left.
Like Jay Wrights, the Coach K's, the Roy Williams, they quit because they didn't like where college sports was going.
Just had it, yep.
And paying the players. And then you have these kind of not newer coaches. Mick Cronin's been around for a while.
Because he's more brash coaches.
More brash, but they're not really successful. I mean, Hurley's won 2 championships, but what do you think of Dan Hurley? Do you think of the championships or do you think of the bitch attitude that he has?
Think of the attitude.
Yeah. So it's hard to think about anything else besides Dan Hurley being an asshole. So I just feel like these coaches are doing a lot, and I feel like at some point it has to turn, and I think this is where the transfer portal comes in. Because if the coaches don't switch it up, these guys are like, I'm going to go now and go someplace where the coaches are going to appreciate what I do and appreciate what I bring to the table and not shit on me at every turn like a lot of these coaches do every night.
I'm so proud you didn't say Calipari because I know how much you can't stand him. And
Listen,
you did not bring him up once.
Listen, first of all, I watched that Arkansas-Alabama game last night, and Acuff is the truth. I think Acuff, if he came out today, would be your top one, that top 5 of the NBA draft. Me and Cal are on the same page in regards to NIL, in regards to transfer and how that rule should work. So
he was waiting for this.
So right now, I have not a bad thing to say about John Calipari at this moment.
Amazing. The growth.
Right now. I know. 9 years of doing this shit, and we've met and we're on the same page. Looking at the top 25, Texas Tech lost JT Toppin last night, turned ACL. BYU lost it, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head. It eluded me real quick. They lost a guard, also turned ACL. So BYU and Texas Tech, based on those two injuries, I think they're going to be out of like Sweet 16 consideration. Your top 5 is Michigan, Houston, Duke, Arizona, UConn is top 5 for now, but I think it's probably going to drop after losing to Creighton last night. I watched Arizona, I watched Duke, I watched Houston live, and I've seen Michigan. I think Michigan, besides that one loss, which is probably the worst game they played in a couple of years, I think Michigan's probably the best team in the country right now.
I do too. I think Duke, I've seen their flaws, and they definitely. I thought that North Carolina game was very telling because they kind of coasted in the second half, and I feel like they get complacent a lot. So I'm not going to put them in my top 3. Houston's going to be around. They have a high ceiling, but if you was to put a gun in my head, I'll say Michigan's the best team right now.
All right, and in women, you UConn, UCLA, South Carolina, Texas, Vanderbilt, rule shot, South Carolina, LSU, 1.4 million viewers on Saturday night in ABC. So
wow,
they put them on prime time on Saturday night, and they got over 1 million. So shout out to South Carolina and LSU.
So you're saying they did better than the All-Star Saturday?
They sure did. We have to talk about UConn women now, and we're Big East guys. We grew up in kind of like that. Still kind of a heyday of the Big East and like the kind of tail end of the Big East when it kind of started to turn because football and Miami screwed it all up.
Yep.
But in regards to women's basketball, is it time for UConn to move conferences? Because there's no one in the Big East that can keep up with UConn women. Can we have that discussion of like maybe it's time you kind of up it and go someplace else for the time being?
Yeah, definitely time because they're gonna be a victim. They're gonna be the Patriots. They're gonna come into the tournament and someone's gonna push back on them and they're not gonna know how to act. And for this thing, you just hope it doesn't happen earlier, but you happen later in the tournament. But yeah, I thought UConn basketball program in general should have been in a bigger conference, but I don't. The Big East is not what it used to be. So at this point, if the Big East became the A10, would anybody really matter? Would it really matter? It wouldn't matter. People, will still respect it for what it is, but we know it's not the glory days of the 80s and the 90s.
So if you look at, obviously they're 17-0 in conference. They're 28-0 overall. So obviously they're 11-0 going into conference play. So they play some, non-conference games. Right. But here are the non-conference games, and I'll tell you if they're ranked or not. First game of the year against a ranked Louisville team. Second game, Florida State. Third game, Loyola Chicago, which they won by 52 points.
Jeez.
Ohio State. Michigan was ranked. Utah, Xavier, South Florida, DePaul, USC, who was ranked, but USC is also missing Juju this year. So you almost have to give USC kind of an asterisk next this season. Marquette, a ranked Iowa team, and then you went straight into conference play. So you played 1, 2, 3, 4 ranked teams out of your first 11 games, let's see. And the rest were just kind of cupcakes.
Mm-hmm.
I know there was talk last year of UConn moving all their programs to the Big 12. And I know that kind of got extinguished. And I know Val Ackerman, Big East commissioner, kind of shot it down and said it wasn't going to happen. Because football's kind of in their independent land, so no one knows nothing about them. Men's basketball is competitive in the Big East because men's basketball is really competitive in the Big East. But do you see the Big 12 where they would face like a Houston, a BYU, South Florida, other teams like that? Would that work out? Or are we looking at you might have to move your program itself to like the ACC or the Big 10 or the Pac-12? Or not the Pac-12. Not the Pac-12.
I mean, I'm pretty. That's on the table. I'll move to the ACC.
it's just like I feel like they're just beating up on Seton Hall,
Yeah,
and DePaul and Butler and Marquette, and every year biggest media day because the morning's the men, everybody's there for the men. The afternoon, the women, everybody leaves. So that's where you get the most access. I love Biggie's media day for that reason. At 12:30, when they start the women's media day, that's where you get to have a good, real conversation with coaches and players. And you see so much attention around the UConn table and like this really sparse kind of like grouping with all the other teams. I'm always curious about what the other teams think, not of UConn, but just the basketball in general. I never go to see Gino because who gives a shit? I want to talk to the Villanova coach. I want to talk to the Seton Hall coach, who's hilarious, right? Anthony. I want to talk to him. They've kind of outgrown the conference, and it might be time to say, yeah, I think we're done here.
Yeah. But they think about a lot of money in the Big East, and they don't want to give that up.
Listen, I think the Big East are in, and I know the commissioner said this when I talked to her, they're in a really good spot because they don't have football. So all that NIL money can go straight to basketball. And go straight to women's basketball and go straight to lacrosse and women's soccer. So they're in a good spot where a lot of that money can go straight to basketball. And they can get the best athletes to come to play the Big East schools because you don't got football sucking up your whole goddamn NIL pot you have.
Yep.
So it's going to be very interesting to see. Bruce, I agree with this idea. I disagreed. Other schools just have to step up and recruit better. UConn coach is not going to be there forever. Look at what happened in men UCLA and women's Tennessee. Good point. Because once Pat Summitt left, Tennessee just went to shit.
Straight down.
John Wooden retired. UCLA won one championship. And I remember that with Ed O'Bannon, who created this whole goddamn mess of NIL shit. I blame you, O'Bannon. It's your fault. Because you saw yourself in March Madness on EA Sports. You want to sue everybody. Asshole. I'm just kidding. I agree with you. So real quick, I want to talk about the counter that the WNBA players set to the owners. We're still in this holding pattern. Right? NBC is promoting the WNBA on NBC.
You need to cut that out.
In the spring. They're promoting it. So, which we kind of knew what happened. There were concessions made. And the concessions from the players said that the union is now asking for an average of 27.5% of gross revenue, down from 31, and a $9.5 million salary cap, which is less than the 10.5 they asked for last time. They also said they'll give up the housing fight and said, for the first couple of seasons of a player's career, the league will supply them with housing, which makes sense because you're not making a lot of money first couple of years in the league. But we're still having issues with because the revenue number is huge. We're talking about a lot of revenue sharing. The salary cap is still a problem, although $1.5 million salary cap is still insane that they've had. So you got to change that anyway. But are the concessions a good thing right now to show kind of like good faith to the owners? Like we're willing to talk to you, we're willing to meet you, but at some point we have to meet us somewhere.
It's good faith. I don't know if it's going to get them anywhere though. I think we're still looking at the barrel of the season not starting on time.
And then Adam Silver said he's not going to put a deadline on when they need to have a agreement. So Adam Silver's like, listen, you guys figure this out. We're not going to step in, which I kind of like because you're giving the league and the players some autonomy.
Yeah.
Right? Big Brother's not stepping in to go, what are you guys doing? Like, let's get it together. So I think this is where we are right now. I think the players have to give up some stuff. It's interesting to see if the owners are going to give up anything. Right now, they don't really have to. But the ball is in their court, and they don't really have to give anything up. Bruce thinks the Player Association is going to back down. Do you think that's going to happen, or you think it's going to be a mutual back down?
I don't know. They definitely have to back down, but it's not going to happen now. It's probably as we get closer to the season start, they'll back down, or they'll come off with their demands a little bit.
So, in prior proposals, the league proposed the players receive 70% of net revenue, which would amount to less than 15% of gross revenue. The latest proposals had a $5.65 million salary cap in 2026 that will grow in years based on the revenue growth. Maximum salaries will go to up to 1.3 million and approach 2 million by 2031, which is up from 249 where it was this year, where the Supermax was. So you got a Supermax over $1 million at some point. I have to agree with Bruce. I think the players are going to fold in this one. I think we're getting to that point where players like
when they're going to fold. When do you think they're going to fold?
Listen, Unrival's going to end soon. Yeah, we're going to start getting paid. I know Breonna Stewart agreed to go play for a European team because she's already like, yeah, this may not happen. So let me put my ducks in a row just in case.
Just in case.
I think the owners have a lot. I think the owners have a lot more of the power. I think the players. I think public relations side, the public sentiment's on the players, and I think the players are like, you guys deserve it. I'm not sure if that's enough to kind of draw the owners into like a real negotiation, and the owners actually conceding some points.
You know, the owners not bad. They're not budging. They have a number. They have numbers in their mind, and they feel like the players are going to back down eventually.
My thing too is I think the owners make a good point, but they're not selling it right. They're talking about long-term health, right? Which makes sense. You can't just give them everything they want because you want the league to eventually be on its own 2 feet and not have the NBA looking over his shoulder, right? Yep. So yeah, the players should get paid what they deserve, but you want the league to be self-sustaining, not in 10, 15 years, but in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Yeah, I think the owners are right, but they, like most owners in sports, do a shitty job of promoting what they think, and they just use these adjectives and verbs and these things that everyone's like, oh God, owner talk. If you just break it down and go, we want to be a league that we could run by ourselves. So us giving what they want all the time, we can't, it's like parents for children, right? We can't give the kids what they want all the time. We can give them a little bit at a time, but we can't just say, yeah, take the whole bag of chips. Like, we can give you a couple of chips.
Right.
But you got that bag for a long time. So instead of you eating the whole bag, you get that bag for a few days. I think the WNBA is like, we're looking ahead for years and years and years. You guys are looking for the short-term gain right now.
And they've made progress. Remember, you remember there was no chartered flights a couple of years. They're slowly even making the progress because the league is slowly turning a profit. So they've got to hold out a little bit. I think the owners have the best interest for them at heart. In the long run, not right now.
In the long run. And real quick, shout out to Unrivaled. They'll be in Brooklyn March 2nd for some games, semifinals of the Unrivaled season.
I'm gonna check that out.
They did Philly. The league made $2 million in Philly.
Oh wow!
So they said, "Fuck it, let's do it again." So they're going to come to Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, they probably make that or a little bit more.
17,532 set up for basketball. Could they get that in Brooklyn?
No, I don't think so. Because I don't think they haven't promoted. They haven't promoted that around here. Yeah, I don't think so. They'll fall short.
So they said the Liberty averaged 16,000 per game last season. Could they get? I'm thinking 12 or 13,000. They'll get that for those games.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think 12, depending on how they set the court up and what they do, like that, I think they can get. They're not going to get 17,000. If they get it, God bless. But I could definitely see them getting like 12 or 13.
I don't think all the upper level will be open for sure.
No. I think some of the upper level. I think you probably close off maybe the hard camera side.
Yeah.
Leave the actual on camera one open and just wrap it around. I think they can do. I think 13,000 is a good number. Real quick. Did you pre-order WWE 2K26?
I have not. I'm going to do it soon. I'm going to do it because I definitely want it.
So I pre-ordered it. And I was stupid because I didn't have the money at the time. And I'm like, what I'm going to do with this game? I'm going to affirm it. So I'm paying like double for the game.
Oh, no.
So I can get it. So the game, I got the Monday Night edition, the Monday Night War edition. That was like $150.
That's the top one. Okay.
And you affirm it, they add like $20 extra tax. So I'm like, I'm paying $170 over the next 12 months for this damn game. This game better be goddamn worth it. Swear to God.
Well, it's definitely better than the current product. I'll tell you that much.
I didn't want to bring that up, but I know Bruce is gonna talk shit, but AEW's been on their shit lately. I'm sorry. Everything's clicking, although I don't agree with the Hangman. If he loses against MJF, he'll never get the title shot again on the Cody shit. I'm really hoping that's not a thing. But Swerve's turning heel. Yeah, MJF, Hangman. I love the ice chant when Brody King faced MJF. It seems like they're kind of figuring it out right now. Like they're like, all right, the Punk thing's over. Let it go. Let's just kind of get back on our shit. Moxley's kind of pushed out the way, doing some side stuff. They got Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy, which I think is genius.
Okay.
Two weird ass people. And then you got Punk and Reigns, two 40-year-olds just yelling at each other in the ring for 20 minutes.
It's okay to admit the wrestling's in a bad spot right now, but things are gonna get better. You know, we're gonna Mania's in 2 months. WWE already announced they're going back to Saudi in May for something, and
which apparently they had Mania already done, and Triple H is like, "No, start over. No, let's do it all over again." And I'm like, "Dude, figure it out." Like it seems like you keep changing plans, and you're worse than Vince right now. You're on some Vince McMahon shit right now, because right now Punk Reigns was not what was not envisioned. Obviously, Seth Rollins got hurt, so that added kind of a dimension to it. But but then you got like, Punk is beefing with Finn Balor, and I'm like, wait, is Finn in this too? Is it gonna be a triple threat? I'm confused on what they're doing. And then Drew's on SmackDown, like, who wants it? And no one's like, I don't know. you trick, you whoop that trick. Like, no one knows what's happening right now. It's like this. It's
a very, very weird, complex situation we have right now.
And there's a fucking box that you can't open until February 28th now. I'm like, what are we doing?
It's the Goblin Googer. It's the Goblin Googer in that box.
Oh my God. What did Jim Cornette say years ago? He's like, Jim Cornette, if anything comes out of the box, it's over. I'm like, we're back on this shit again. We're back in the box. Something's in the box, and we can't look in the box for 2 weeks. I'm like, what are we doing? What is happening right now?
And people say it's Jericho, but I'm hearing Jericho's still in the contract at AEW. I don't know what's going on.
Listen, Tony's undercover gangster, because Tony's like, you want to go? All right, cool. I'm going to freeze your fucking contract. You're not going nowhere until I tell you to. I'm like, Tony's like, listen, you're not going to hold me up to negotiate against myself so you can go there. No. You want to sit out for 6 months? You get no 6 months back. And I'm like, damn, that's what's up.
Which is wrong, because Ciampa walked out the door on Monday and was on AEW Dynamite on Wednesday.
That was some Rick Rude shit. Rick Rude was on the pre-tape Raw. It was on the live night show the same night.
And Ciampa think he's sick. I know he's taking Gargano with him. I know when his contract is done, he's going over there too.
My only issue was they put the TNT title on Ciampa, and then he took it right off of him and gave it to Fletcher. Yeah. But they were going to Australia, and Fletcher's Australian, so it kind of made sense. I can see Ciampa getting the belt back here, but they wanted to give the Australian fans a win. So I kind of understand the logic behind it. But I thought at that point, just not have Ciampa challenge for the belt until they come back.
Until come back, yeah.
Because he had the belt for 2 weeks and then he lost it. So that's my only complaint. But Ciampa looks like a star there, not like a jobber in catering in WWE.
Yeah.
But God bless AEW. And screw them. Screw WWE. Jason, as always, great show.
Likewise.
So next Thursday we'll be back. I have no report card night. I have nothing going on. Next Thursday we'll be here, no doubt. Real quick, Live Free Laugh our episode of the Rise and Fall of Redneck Comedy is up. We did that on Saturday. It released on Sunday. Check that out. We talk about Larry the Cable Guy, how much we hate him, for about 20 minutes. So that's really good. That's up. Also, Armchair every Wednesday night with Bruce, who you see pop in here and talk shit at AEW every single week. So he's on every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. as well. As always, thanks so much for watching, whether it be live, whether it be recorded, whether it be Saturday, whether it be next week. We appreciate you. Thanks so much. We'll be back next Thursday here on the One Podcast Network. Thanks so much. Peace.
Peace.
This has been The Box Out. with Kahlil Thomas and Jason Kortner. Subscribe now for the best tri-state area basketball talk.